How many times have you found yourself stuck in your thoughts, thinking endlessly about a single problem, only to feel more confused, more exhausted, and even more disconnected from the solution you were seeking? It's a familiar pattern, isn't it? The more we think, the clearer the answer should become, right? But what if that's not the case? What if thinking less could be the key to unlocking a life of clarity and fulfillment? This is the paradox that Descartes, one of the greatest minds in philosophy, might have an answer for. We live in an age of constant analysis. Every decision, every moment, every relationship seems to demand our attention, our mental energy. We're taught to question everything, to constantly reflect, to overthink, and to dissect every aspect of our lives. But what happens when all that thinking becomes a barrier instead of a bridge? What happens when the act of thinking actually clouds our vision, rather than clearing it? Take a moment to reflect on the last time you felt truly stuck. How many times do you replay the same thoughts, chasing them like a dog chasing its tail? How many times do you think the solution is just one more thought away, only to find that with each cycle, you are further away from clarity? This is the trap. We assume that more thinking equals better results. But in reality, all that thinking often leads us to confusion, anxiety, and a life that feels like it is spinning out of control. But what if the answer to this mental maze is not to think more, to push our minds harder, but to take a step back and let go of the need to constantly analyze, judge, and reflect? What if thinking less could free us, rather than imprison us? Descartes, in his quest for certainty, famously declared, "Cogito ergo sum," I think, therefore I am. His belief was that thinking was the foundation of existence. But is thinking really the cornerstone of a meaningful life? Or has our modern obsession with overthinking led us down a path where our thoughts dominate our every action and decision, leaving us lost in an endless cycle of doubt and hesitation? You're not alone in this. We all find ourselves caught in the tide of relentless thinking. It's human nature. But perhaps it's not the quantity of our thoughts that shapes our lives. It's the quality of our silence, the space between thoughts, the moments when we choose not to analyze but to experience. Think about the last time you felt a moment of peace. Was it when your mind was racing, or when you allowed yourself to simply be? When was the last time you stopped forcing an answer, stopped expecting more from yourself, and simply let things unfold? In those moments, were you no longer connected to yourself, to others, to life? Descartes may not have told us to stop thinking altogether, but perhaps his words invite us to reconsider the value of quiet reflection, of moments when the mind is not consumed by thought but is at rest. So what if the secret to living a fuller life isn't in overthinking, but in embracing moments of stillness? What if the key to clarity isn't in endless contemplation, but in silent observation? What if, instead of trying to force every answer through the maze of your mind, you let the answers come to you naturally, in the spaces between thoughts? Descartes gave us a powerful tool for understanding our existence through thought, but perhaps we've gone too far. Perhaps we've become addicted to the need for certainty, the desire for every question to be answered immediately. But life, as it turns out, doesn't work that way. Life isn't about having all the answers at once. It's about being comfortable in the unknown, finding peace in the not yet known. It's about realizing that silence, stillness, and lack of thought can be just as powerful, if not more so, than a constant stream of mental activity. By thinking less, we don't diminish our lives. In fact, we expand them. When we stop forcing answers and start embracing the mystery of life, we create space for true creativity, for inspiration, for moments of profound insight that would be impossible if we had remained stuck in the cycle of overthinking. Now, imagine your life without the constant weight of mental pressure. Imagine living with a sense of ease, not because you have all the answers, but because you have made peace with the unknown. You are not defined by your thoughts. You are defined by your ability to experience life to its fullest, to feel its joys and sorrows without getting lost in analysis. This is the transformation that Descartes may have suggested. Thinking less doesn't mean thinking incorrectly. It means allowing space for other forms of wisdom to emerge. The quiet moments, the unexpected insights, the wisdom that comes from simply being rather than constantly doing. And so, as we come to the end of this journey, I ask you to reflect. How much of your life is consumed by your thoughts? How much of your potential is stifled by the need to have all the answers? What would happen if you allowed yourself the freedom to think less, to be more present, and to trust that life will unfold exactly as it should, without the constant need for your mental interference? Descartes showed us the power of thought. But maybe, just maybe, the real power lies in knowing when to stop thinking and start living. There is a rule, one that no one dares to speak of, one that has been buried under centuries of conditioning. And once you see it, once you truly understand it, you will never see life the same way again. From the moment you were born, you were given a script. Not one you wrote, not one you chose, but one that was handed down to you by society, by your parents, by the world around you. You were told how to be good, how to be successful, how to be happy. Work hard. Follow the rules. Make people proud. Be kind. Be responsible. Be productive. Do more. Achieve more. Be more. And yet, if these rules were truly the path to happiness, why do so many people feel empty? Why do so many people wake up every morning with a quiet sense of dread, a weight on their chest that they can't explain? Why do so many people, despite following all the rules, feel lost? Because the rules were never designed to set you free. They were designed to keep you in place. And then there's that forbidden rule. A truth so simple, yet so terrifying, that most people will spend their entire lives running from it. Here it is: you don't have to play the game. Read that again. Let it sink in. You don't have to chase approval. You don't have to live by someone else's definition of success. You don't have to measure your worth by your accomplishments. You don't have to keep fighting a battle you never chose to fight. Think about it. How much of your suffering comes from expectations that were never yours to begin with? How much of your stress comes from trying to prove something to people who aren't even paying attention? How much anxiety comes from the fear of what would happen if you just stopped? You stopped pretending. You stopped pushing. You stopped running. But here's the thing: society doesn't want you to stop. Because the moment you stop, you become something dangerous, uncontrollable, unpredictable, free. And a free person can't be manipulated. A free person can't be sold the illusion of happiness. A free person does not seek validation, because he has already given it to himself. Now, this is where most people go wrong. They hear this and think, so should I just give up? Stop caring? Do nothing? No, that's not freedom. That's another kind of prison. True freedom isn't about giving up on life. It's about choosing it. It's about stepping outside the script and writing your own. It's about realizing that you're not a character in someone else's story. You're the author of your own. It's about looking at everything you've been taught and daring to ask, is this true for me? It's about realizing that happiness was never about the destination. It was always about how you chose to walk your path. Now, let's talk about fear. Because if this truth is so powerful, why do so few people embrace it? Because freedom is scary. Because when you stop following the rules, you have no more excuses. There's no one left to blame. No one to tell you what to do. You get to decide. And that level of responsibility, that level of choice, is something most people would rather avoid. They'd rather stay in a cage they know than enter a world without walls. But let me ask you, what's scarier? Living a life dictated to you by others? Or standing on the edge of possibility, with the power to create something entirely your own? Because that's what awaits you on the other side of that rule. A life that is truly, undeniably yours. So here's my challenge to you. Look at your life. Look at your choices. Look at the rules you follow without question. And ask yourself, who am I really doing this for? If the answer isn't you, then maybe, just maybe, it's time to break the rules. It's time to step off the path you've been given and forge your own. It's time to stop chasing and start choosing. Because at the end of your life, you won't be measured by how well you followed the rules. You will be measured by how deeply you have lived. And that is the only rule that has ever really mattered. And I will be here to guide you every step of the way. If this message resonated with you, if you feel that quiet stirring of transformation in your heart, I invite you to take the next step on this journey. Like this video, share it with others who may be stuck in the cycle of overthinking, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more insights on how you can live a life of peace, clarity, and purpose. Your journey to a better life begins with a simple thought: less is more. Thank you for watching.